CD Projekt Red isn't done with Cyberpunk 2077, even though they made us think that 2.0 would be the end of any meaningful updates, as they just announced that yet another exciting update is coming our way on December 5th, that being the same day as Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition, which for those of you not in the know is just the complete package of 2077 with Phantom Liberty included. And of course, this will be a free update, that being Update 2.1, which they say is introducing new and hotly anticipated gameplay elements. And since the update is less than a week away, we are actually getting a reveal of what will be included during a new episode of Red Streams tomorrow, that being December 1st at 4 p.m. Central Eastern Time, which will feature senior community managers Alicia Kozera and Lilaya, alongside some guests, that being Quest Director Pavel Sasko and producer Ayana Sor. So of course, you can expect a quick breakdown video from me following that episode of Red Streams tomorrow, covering everything and anything Update 2.1 and anything else they might happen to discuss during that live stream. As for what that could actually include though, they're really letting people's minds run wild with expectations here. So I'm trying my best to keep my excitement for what could be included more contained, but we are going to talk about some potential possibilities for what could maybe be seen in this new update. That being what is in the realm of possibility with a new update, but also matches the description of new and hotly anticipated gameplay elements. And before we dive into the hot water of unconfirmed features, I did want to note some things that have been confirmed by CD Projekt Red themselves as things that they're actually working on. The first of which is relating to the path tracing implementation, as they have apparently been working with NVIDIA on improving the quality of ray reconstruction in order to deal with some of the cases of things like smearing, halos, and posterization, and even noted that they'd hopefully be able to share some details on it soon, so that could be something close enough for this update. CDPR also confirmed that they're working on full FSR3 implementation, but they noted that it is an ongoing process and that they'll still need more time to release it with the desired outcome. So that one is a little bit less solid when it comes to being included with this next update, but those two things were discussed in a Q&A with WCCF Tech last week. So even though they are promised, we don't have a timeline on either of them. Now, as for the more spicy speculation on what could be included with Update 2.1, just keep in mind this section will be pretty much exclusively speculation and discussion, so I'd love for you all to join me for it, but don't go getting hyped for something that may not come true. Because the first thing that popped in my head when I saw this announcement, probably because it's something I've been wanting since the early days of this game, is New Game Plus. This is something that the developers have been getting hounded about since release. In fact, Miles Toss responded to the question of New Game Plus last year on Twitter, stating that it would be complex for them to make, as they'd have to sweep over the entire game for any glaring balancing or game-breaking issues, but they did note in the end that they were listening and investigating it. Just no promises. And funny enough, a lot of the things Miles mentioned as blocking them from making it happen were either confirmed as non-issues, as for an example, the game already had a built-in safeguard that blocks the use of Cyberware during the prologue, or they have been addressed with updates since that comment. One of those being balancing. As you may remember with Update 2.0, all NPCs now scale to your level, weapons now scale damage based on their tier, loot now scales to your level, and vendor stocks scale with your level, expanding as you reach each new tier. So a lot of the rebalancing over the last few updates, especially 2.0, seemingly address a lot of the pain points that they had for New Game Plus's implementation. Whether that is the case or not on a development level, and if it's within the realm of possibility with this update, again, we'll have to wait and see. But New Game Plus is something that a lot of modern games include, something The Witcher 3 received very early on, something that is hotly anticipated by many, and something I think would be like the cherry on top for the Ultimate Edition and the end of support for this game. And another reason I say New Game Plus is because everything else that people have been really wanting for this game seems more out of reach than New Game Plus itself. Things like visual cyberware, which I definitely don't think is happening with this game, especially because we already got the major, more cyberware feeling cyberware updates with 2.0. And beyond that, it honestly feels like they've added just about everything people wanted to this game. Unless we get really crazy and they add the full Metro NCART system, which again, as I've said in the past, I feel is too little return on investment at this point. I just think there's too little benefit for them to even bother with going through the effort of adding that. So the things they could add with a random 2.1 update is honestly quite limited at this point, as I don't think this is going to be a massive update, but I do think it's going to include some smaller additions and will still be seen as a major update in the grand scheme of things to polish off the experience for the Ultimate Edition. And the only large thing I think is reasonable at this point is New Game Plus. Again, probably a bit of hopium coming from me. Pavel still hasn't whispered sweet nothings in my ear as of yet. Not that I would tell you if he was, but we'll just have to wait and see for what tomorrow brings. Of course, not only will I cover the reveal tomorrow, but I will cover Update 2.1 in depth with an in-game look and review on December 5th as well. Of course, for any of my fellow PC players, you might also want to keep in mind that this update will break mods, just as with every update, so be prepared for that. Now, beyond this Update 2.1 news, some other cool things have happened for Cyberpunk over the last few days that I haven't covered here on the channel that you might want to check out. We got a Night City Archives Episode 1, a brief history of Night City, which is a super high quality, well put together, short and concise Night City lore video done by CD Projekt Red themselves. A new GameSpot documentary with CD Projekt Red telling the story behind the redemption of Cyberpunk 2077. And we got official copies sold of Phantom Liberty, which was 4.3 million copies since launch, which is an estimated 20% attachment ratio, which they expressed their gratitude over and noted it was a very important milestone for the future of the franchise. And other than that, now we get to wait until tomorrow for all to be revealed for Update 2.1, which again, I'll be sure to cover with a video tomorrow. Until then, if you happen to miss my video on The Witcher 3 from last week, where we discussed the very exciting official mod tools coming to the game and the potential for CDPR to bring the same to Cyberpunk 2077, you can find that video on screen now. Or if you'd like to, once again, embrace YouTube's stalker vibes, then you can check out the other video. But that's it for this video. Thanks as always for watching, and until next time, this is Apoqsi, signing off.